So I've been talking about the new champ, the Simple Chase, Swunple Chase. I've been talking about what bothers me so much about his kit, and it occurred to me that we're seeing this in some other ways. The thing that's bothering me, and that is, let's talk about his kit real quick, and then we'll get into the issue of this video. We've got his A1, 35% chance of placing a freeze, 50% against Orcs and Ogryn. They're buffing this up to 50%, so I guess it goes to 75% for Orcs and Ogryn. This is fine. This skill was already fine. 35% chance to proc CC on an A1 is fine. That's not the problem with him. 50% is going to be better, but they're buffing basically the only thing about his kit that wasn't like worth complaining about. You know what I mean? This was already fine. A2 attacks all enemies, defense break. If it's Ogryn or Orcs, then he gets to place a weaken as well. You can get this down to 3 turn. You can get it up to 100% with books. The problem with this is, one, it doesn't matter to the Orc and Ogryn thing. It doesn't really have any true impact in the game. And you can go farm a War Maiden who can do this for so much cheaper. It is worth not having the weaken on Orcs and Ogryns to only have to spend rare books to get 100% defense down rather than legendary books. And War Maiden, I might have said War Mother. I think I keep doing that. War Maiden. If I said War Mother, I meant War Maiden. She also has poisons. Like she's good. She's a solid rare champ that already has AoE defense down at 100% chance to proc. There's plenty of AoE defense down champs in the game. If they could have given him defense down and weaken across the board, and then we're talking. Then we've got something, right? Now you've got an alternative to Draco. You don't have to have Draco. Draco's still far superior because 1, he doesn't have to attack to land it. 2, he's got massive poisons. 3, he's got a cool A. Like Draco's still far superior, but this opens it up. This gives people a little bit more opportunity to have defense down and weaken across the board. So that's something they could have done, right? That would have made him stand out from War Maiden, for crying out loud. The A3 is the real problem here. This skill has been driving me insane, and now we're going to start to get into the issue of the video. I'm going to talk about the skill, and then we're going to really get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm here for today. Attacks one enemy, removes all buffs from the target. Removes all buffs from the target before attacking when targeting enemies from Orc and Ogryn tribe factions. So most of the time, he's attacking an enemy and then removing their buffs. This is the dumbest mechanic to me. It's single target, first of all, which would be fine if it was reversed. But now, what you've got, theoretically, is this dude slamming his A3 into shield buff, defense buff, block damage, strengthen. You know what I mean? All sorts of damage mitigating buffs. He slams this skill into them and then removes them. That is ass backwards. That is not a good skill. That's a dumb skill. It's dumb. There was no reason to do that. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out the Orc and Ogryn thing. I can't figure out how this ties in to CSGO. Why it's relevant to his kit. I don't understand the point in it. It is not helping anyone do anything. I think someone said there were Orcs and Ogryn champs in faction wars, but like, come on, dude. Can he get a little bit more utility than that? Like, he's a bad champ. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know how rare it is for me to say that a champ is bad. I advocate for almost every champion in this game. It's one of the things I enjoy doing is taking champs that people generally don't like and trying to make them stand out and show you that they're better than they're getting credit for. This champ sucks. He just fucking sucks, man. He's just a bad champ, and it's really silly. It's really silly that Ninja is so good in such a good way. I think the way that they made Ninja is one of the best things they've done. I think making Rosin a permanent fusion was one of their best moves they've ever done. Like, they've got a few things they've done that I think just stand out from everything else they do. And I think making the way that they made Ninja, I don't know if it was an accident, but he's made so precisely well that he's great for the brand new players that are getting him for progression. He's fantastic for mid game. He's got his place in end game. He fits in to somewhere at every stage of the game. There are players of all different skill levels using him for different things. That's a remarkably hard thing to do, first of all. And two, it's perfect for something like this where you're trying to bring in new players in droves from other communities, right? You want to give them a champ that's going to be fun, that's going to be useful on a long-term basis. You don't want them to come in and outgrow this champ in a couple of weeks. And this dude, honestly, by the time they get him 7 days in, you're going to have a War Maiden by then. You don't need this dude. He's not going to do anything for you. Like, it's dumb. He's not going to do anything for you that you couldn't be getting elsewhere, I should say. So my problem here is the A3, right? A little bit of a rant about that. Let's move on real quick now and talk about Homeboy here, the hot topic right now. Really cool looking champ. I gotta say, one of the dopest looking champs in the game, I think. Let's talk about this stupid skill right here. Removes all debuffs from this champion, then attacks all enemies. Places an increased attack buff and crit damage buff on this champion for 1 turn after attacking. Now, I've confirmed with Plarium that the way this is worded is not the way it necessarily works. The way that it's worded is he attacks, he places buffs on himself, his turn ends, therefore the buffs go away. That's the way that it's worded because that's the way that works, right? He puts the buffs on himself for 1 turn, and then his turn ends, so the buffs would be gone. He keeps the buffs for the next turn. Even with that being the case, it's stupid. It's a stupid skill, dude. Why? Why is he doing it backwards? Why can't he buff himself for 1 turn and then do the attack and then lose the buffs? That way this skill is just always guaranteed to have an attack buff and a crit damage buff. It's so stupid. What a stupid idea. Unless... No, I was going to say unless there's a reason for it, but then the buffs aren't going away after he uses them. He's still got them. I was going to say maybe it's going to be useful for someone to like buff themselves, use the buffs, get rid of the buffs. Maybe it'll be useful for them to not have buffs the following turn, but he's going to keep the buffs for the next turn, so that can't be the case. So he's buffing himself for his next attack, which would be theoretically his A2, which gets to ignore shield, fine. It's a silly skill, dude. Why not just let him do it? You have to play this game for like 2 years before you get him, right? I've lost track of how deep you have to get into the login calendar at this point to get this dude, but like shittiness aside of like putting an epic into the login calendar this deep into the login calendar, right? Taking away the sacred, taking away the chicken, putting in that Lego, and then putting this guy in after. It's really stupid. But the fact that he really has no utility either, it's just dumb. It's a weird thing, and it feels like it's about to start trending where you've got these champs doing things in the wrong order, right? You've got Swample Chase attacking and then stripping the buffs. You've got this fathead attacking and then buffing himself for the next turn. It's dumb. It's a dumb thing. You're not that out of ideas for skills. There are so many other opportunities for skills here. And Chase doesn't need much. I'm calling him Chase. I know that's not his name. I'm doing it to piss some of y'all off. It's all right. I know his name is not Chase. Just make this strip first. That's a real quick, easy fix that ought to be the case anyway. Get this Organ Ogren shit out of his kit. Let him strip buffs first and let him attack. Throw a little bit of ignored defense in his kit on this A3. It's single target for crying out loud. I had an idea that I mentioned in another video. Let him ignore 25% defense just inherently in the skill, and then 25% more for every buff he removes. Let him strip first and then attack, and let him ignore defense based on the number of buffs he's stripping. That's an easy way to make him fun for everybody, right? Then he's useful for everybody. Then he's got cool stuff for new players to progress. He's got stuff for mid-game players. He's got stuff for in-game. He becomes, with God-tier gear where you can get the accuracy up high enough, he becomes a Sifi counter, a Duchess counter. You know what I mean? You go in, you take that first turn, you strip buffs off them, you ignore defense because they've got so many buffs, you take them out of the fight. Like, it at least gives him potential to be usable everywhere. No one's going to use this dude. New players are going to use him for a little bit till they learn the game, and then they're going to stop using him. Like, it's shitty, and I would be offended if I was this dude. He's apparently... I feel like I'm seeing a lot that he's regarded as the best CSGO player of all time, and they put him in this game and made him one of the shittiest champs in the game. That is so dirty, dude. I'd be so offended by that. Especially if I was following Ninja, who got one of the coolest, like, additions. Like, Ninja's champ is really cool, man. Looks cooler. I will say that this dude does look cool, though. He's got a really cool skin. It's pretty basic. Like, it's simple, but it's simple. But it's really dope. I think he looks really cool. Also, no, he doesn't look like me. Stop saying it. He's a white dude also. Sure. He does not look like me. Stop saying it. That's it, man. I'm done ranting. There might be more champs. If there's any champs I didn't talk about here that do things in the wrong order like that, let me know below. And I think it's something that we probably should keep an eye on moving forward as they continue to add champs to the game. Because if this is going to be a new thing and there's no point in it, like there's no content coming where that would make sense, then what the hell are they doing? What's the point? You know? So that's it. I guess let me know if you think this is as silly as I do, or if you disagree with me. I'd be interested to hear some counter arguments to what I've said here. And that's it, man. We'll wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys watching. Good old rant video. It's been a minute. Yeah, see you later.